for the final of the European Singles Championships. The two finalists this afternoon are the Englishman Richard Bilton and the Spaniard Jose Ales Salva. I'm joined in commentary by Dominic Nuns again. I'm Richard, by the way, and we're looking forward to a good match this afternoon. I don't think they've tossed the coin yet, but they've had their warm-up period, so we're about to see who takes blue. Jose is doing some stretching exercises, arm swinging exercises.
So that was the voice of Richard Brooks, and yeah, as he said, Dom Nuns here as well, joining him in commentary. Welcome to a gloriously sunny Southwick, and as Richard said, our two finalists here for the European Championship final, Richard Bilton of England and Jose Alvarez Sala of Spain. Really looking forward to this one, Richard. Based on what we've seen so far, we enjoyed a lot of Jose's semi-final in particular. It's going to be a cracking match.
I think they're just posing for a photograph which is going to be taken by the referee, and one of the Spanish visitors is also going to take a photograph. And we should shortly be underway. They're trying to reposition themselves so they're in front of the flags.
Just while they're doing the photos, viewers might be interested in some of the other results that have been going on in some of the consolation events. The plate has been won, by the looks of it, by Wolfgang Uzbek of Germany, who defeated Bjorn Kamner, representing Sweden. And then in the bowl, the final is going to be between another Alvarez Sala brother, Manuel Alvarez Sala, and Chris Roberts. That's coming up. And the shield has been won by the third Alvarez Sala brother at this event, Andres Alvarez Sala, who beat Stu Smith in two very close games, 7-6, 7-6. But we're about to get underway. I'll hand back to Richard.
Thank you, Dom. Looks the blue ball's been played in by a Spanish visitor. It's made a very nice ball just south and slightly east of hoop 1. Probably about 5 or 6 feet out, would you say, Dom?
I think you're right. Something of that order, yes.
Yeah, about 10 degrees this way, I would think. From
interesting to know what angle that is, yeah. It looks potentially jawsable, might be challenging to run.
Black ball comes in, going slightly closer to the hoop, still a bit short though. Not a good angle with the black ball for hooping. Richard's gone deep again and a bit further over, slightly, almost in line with the hoop, I would say. He's probably got the best alignment there.
So I've checked the pictures. Doesn't look to me like blue runs at all easily, so maybe attempting a jaws here.
I know he tried to run and got a rejection. Now I would be expecting red to clear black down the lawn. No, it was a hoop attempt. Surprised, I didn't think he was in the best position for that, but both players have had a failed hoop attempt. Now black will clear yellow as far into the corner as possible. And he's pretty much got it to the corner. Is there any in-off potential, do you think, Dom?
It looks as though there could be,
No,
but no, in fact he's just playing in, so obviously blue...
It's probably this side of the hoop, further than we realised from here.
You take it from that blue doesn't run and maybe doesn't even jaws.
quite a tentative start to the first hoop. Very important to try and gain control early on. Nice clearance by Richard.
It is. Now, we watched quite a bit of Jose's semi-final, and he had a number of excellent hoops on the boundary in a similar position to this.
Now he's opted for the clearance on the yellow.
Just to set the scene a little more, we've got, in terms of rankings here, we've got Jose is currently world ranked number 44, and Richard currently ranked 59. Both at their peak have touched a dynamic grade of close to or at around 2,500, so both capable of playing croquet of the very, very high standard.
Lovely clearance from the middle of the lawn to remove red from about, which was about a yard from the hoop.
Yeah, good confidence builder that one, wasn't it? Right in the middle.
Yeah, good centre ball.
Having said that, sometimes when you're clearing to that short boundary, it's almost better to get a bit of an angle, because black is in a way just waiting to be spanked by red, which is what would happen if Jose didn't clear here. So I think we'll see him remove yellow.
I think he's almost certainly going to take the clearance off him, which he's done. Now, will Richard be tempted to go for hoop here?
So Jose's
certainly, I think he's contemplating doing so. He's taking quite a time to consider the shot, isn't he, Dom?
He's thinking about it, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a hoop shot. And a second rejection for Richard. Jose's also had a rejection early on. So hoops are well set.
And so Jose, a former Spanish Open champion, I understand. Richard also has had some excellent tournament victories, including the Ascot Cup. I think it may have been that event that was here, and it was probably the first time I saw him play. I can remember very clearly him playing a match against Will G on this very lawn. Will was absolutely disgusted with himself that he failed to block Richard at hoop 11 from the north boundary, because he was absolutely sure Richard had got himself in such a groove he was going to run it, which he duly did. So if Richard gets really into his stride, he can be very accurate, very reliable hooper.
He's cleared the black there, but it is fairly straight. He's only going to play in, so he could have been tempted to a hoop shot, but at this early stage he doesn't want to give away a position where he could have ended up at the end of the lawn had he failed. If hoop one is anything to go by, we're not in for a short match, Dom.
No, you do tend to find as the standard increases, GC matches can get longer as there's a lot of effective clearing. If you throw in the odd failed hoop as well, you do get some long battles, don't you?
Yeah, the percentage of clearing does seem to have increased during my time of playing GC.
So the centre ball clearance quite helpful there, although black's going to play back in and blue does have a potential clearance on red. So black's gone to try to find the wire position. Looks like it might have just drifted the ball south. Although, if it was totally open, I don't think Rich would be hesitating to clear black. So it must be
considering promoting red into a good position, possibly. No, I don't think that's the shot.
It's worth thinking about. I think he's
looking at the clearance still.
Gone back to black, I think.
Yeah. We haven't actually seen a missed clearance yet, have we, Don? Seen some rejections at hoop, but I haven't really seen a missed clearance. They're both playing extremely well.
So
jousting with each other.
A bit of jousting, exactly. So you talked about the percentage rate of clearing improving over your time. When did you first start playing competitive GC?
2006, and I played a few games that year, but there's quite a few years since then I've played well over 100 ranking games. It's only a handful in 2006, gradually built up over the first 3 or 4 years. So I got to my current total of just over 2,300. Lovely hoop. Jose has just played the first hoop.
That was very clean, wasn't it? Yeah. So
He's off the north boundary with a shot like that. No trouble at all.
Plenty of experience from Richard to draw on. Interesting that Richard didn't wait for the blue to be put back on there. I thought he might have been looking for a wide position. Instead, he just held back.
He stayed quite deep, hasn't he, deliberately, I think, for that.
Do you ever think there's a merit in when your opponents had to go for quite a long walk to fetch a ball, playing a shot so that they're sort of feeling slightly under pressure even as they're going to collect the ball?
I don't know.
I wonder whether some players do that.
Bit of psychology. Not sure about that, Don.
It's just a thought.
We can't actually see, but I think probably black is open to red. No doubt you all heard that we've just had a helicopter flying along the line of the railway, just to the south of us.
People will do anything for a view of the croquet these days.
Well, that's what the new flats are built for, Don. We have a high-rise block, or fairly high-rise block, just the other side of those trees. Don't we?
Oh, just on the railway side?
Yeah, just over the other side of the railway.
So attempted power clearance from Jose there with black on yellow. The downside of that is if you miss, you're well out of position.
So you attempt to clear and hold position here, I think, with yellow.
He got a lot of topspin on his last clearance.
Just ran on past the hoop. He was hoping to stop right in front.
I think both times he played with a half a thought of the in-off on those clearances. Narrowly missed on both occasions.
He's just going to promote yellow back in front, I think, with the hope that black doesn't get it from the far boundary. And he's left with a good hoop shot.
That's a nice shot, and it's an even nicer shot if black is blocked on the hoop.
The only downside is he's not got red in a good position for approaching the next hoop, should he?
No, that is true, yes. He possibly could have thought about that element of that shot a little harder.
Power power shot coming in for Jose, but it missed everything on the... I think Richard's obliged to take that hoop, in spite of the fact his red ball is quite hampered to approaching the next hoop. One each.
Maybe you could squeeze red into some sort of position on the north boundary from there.
Well, I think he's a little bit lucky because blue's a little bit angled where it's arrived, although it would be jawsable, wouldn't it?
That does look jawsable, yeah, like you say, extra value for blue getting a really good position there,
Yeah.
with red's awkward position, but
He's really obliged to go quite deep, I think, with red. As expected, he's had to go fairly deep. He's got good lengths on it, but he's fairly deep.
as the players come closer to our commentary position with these next two hoops, we might have to be a little quieter and not talk at certain key moments.
Not too bad, because we're situated more or less in the middle of the lawn, aren't we?
That's right.
I don't think they'll be hearing our commentary.
I think Jose played some of our match wearing earphones, but not all of it, and he's not wearing earphones now.
There are players that like to listen to their favourite music while they're playing. I think it was Stuart Smith and Toby Savage.
Well, Stu Smith was telling me he likes a bit of classical. He was telling me.
Surprising. I think Toby likes heavy metal.
Okay, well, there's a contrast.
Yeah. With me, I just rather have peace and quiet. Excellent hoop. Richard goes 2-1 up.
Yeah, it was a fair angle, that, wasn't it? That was a good hoop. So, having not started the game with blue and black, which is an advantage, Richard will be pleased to be 2-1 up.
Indeed. In tennis terms, he's kind of broken serve there, hasn't he?
That's right. So yellow here you'd think would be having a hit at blue.
No, straight through. Passed on the eastern side of the balls and the hoop. An ideal shot here is if he can leave blue somewhere. Ideally he would have got further over to the hoop 5, but the clearance was extremely good anyway. We'll have a long clearance attempt by Richard onto black. Which has got to be sort of 21 yards, I should think. Succeeded. I apologise, I talk in yards. One of my sons would be most annoyed because he does everything in metric.
We mentioned the train line earlier, didn't we, Richard? We're just near Brighton here on the south coast of the UK, and that's the train line that goes along the coast. We just heard a train go past there. Richard's not put off by that. Some players would stop there, but he didn't make his clearance. That was a lovely smooth hoop.
Very smooth hoop play.
And I think he's done that deliberately. He's tried to put it in Yellow's way, and he almost got it, didn't he? Now, some coaches would definitely recommend playing the early clearance on Yellow there. Jose's not gone for that tactic.
The Egyptian way is generally don't clear with the first ball, isn't it? That's what they favour. And a lot of the other players are now adopting that style.
So Jose's backed himself with the longer clearance on Yellow.
Which he did very nicely.
Julie got it, might even have got it to a wide position, which is a bonus.
We can't be sure here, but I think it's a little bit hampered by the peg there, isn't he? No, I think it's this side of the peg. I think he's okay.
Sarah Patton says you're right to stick to yards, Richard. You've got a fan out there for the yards.
Thank you very much, Sarah. My son, who's hell-bent on metric, is 48, by the way. He's no youngster.
We've had another question come in from John Bishop, who says, how old is Richard Bilton? I have to say I don't know the answer to that.
No, if we look at the entries, we could see whether he's still under 25, because that's recorded, isn't it? I don't think he is now. He's probably hit the 25 mark.
If I was going to guess, I'd say, later 20s.
Yeah.
I think you may be right. Anyhow, that's another hoop for Jose.
Who now leads 3-2.
And Blue's run down into a very commanding position at 6 as well. So Richard's got work to do to get back into this hoop as well.
That's come into a very good position from the west boundary.
Yeah, lovely shot that, wasn't it? Great touch.
Oh, what a hoop from the south boundary by Richard. What a hoop.
Fantastic. Well, that's moved things up a gear.
Yes, certainly has.
3-all.
Had to be 25 yards plus, didn't it, from there?
And that's a beautiful position for Blue as well. So both players starting to find their mojo.
I'll leave my tab open until next weekend. No? Yes, of course you can. Phil Erdely's for those from last time he was here. I was going through the tabs here, but I've got to
That's a missed clearance with red, but it'll have another go with yellow. A thought occurred as to how much of a factor it might be that Jose played his semi-final on lawn 2, which, as we discussed earlier, lawns 1, 2 and 3 are quite a bit slower, especially in their southern thirds, whereas Richard was on what I think is the fastest lawn on the club generally, lawn 5.
Yeah. I don't think the speed is quite as noticeable as it was a few weeks ago when in the really early season. It has speeded up now, these 3 holes, but there is still a marked difference.
Having said that, I haven't noticed Richard make too many lawn pace related errors,
No.
so he seems to have adjusted very quickly.
Now what he's got here, is he going to have to play the red ball to send the yellow ball in, or is he clear to go direct at them?
I think red can see what it needs to see.
Yeah. He needs to see black, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Full ball, centre ball, pretty much.
Just had 2. I'm just not drinking. Full stop.
You'd certainly rather be blue and black at the moment in this hoop. Not only is it 2 balls in front, but in a moment it's going to be both yellow and red towards the east side, therefore only able to clear a short distance. So blue and black are going to remain in control for a little while yet. It's going to take a number of good shots for Richard to get back into this hoop. Unless he fancies a hoop attempt for
Well, that
with
was
yellow.
a nice clearance, and he's left himself in good position with blue, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. It's a good shot. Richard coming to check whether black's still got a hoop without making a jump shot.
Looking at the black clearance, I think. That's the first miss I've seen on the clearances for quite a while.
Yeah.
Many missed clearances. So,
Yeah, didn't seem to make a very clean connection to that one,
No.
Richard, which is unusual for him.
yeah.
Jose assessing his options here.
Yeah,
He's
he's-
obviously thinking about the position of yellow and what yellow could do. Definitely think there's some value in blocking the hoop shot if it's not already blocked.
Yeah. I don't think it can be, because he's where he's indicating he'd like the ball to end up, I think it's the blocking shot. Don't
Do you-
you?
Yes, the amount of time he's taking, I wonder if he's after a spot where yellow can not see the hoop or blue particularly well. If there is a spot for that, that'd be a
Yeah.
nice spot to take.
He's checking that blue can, when it comes to blue's turn, the blue can get the hoop. And then he's deciding whether he's going to protect the hoop or protect blue, I think. I think that's definitely a hoop protection. It doesn't protect blue at all. That's protected the hoop, isn't it? It's not.
I'm sure that's what he's tried,
Yeah.
and given that Richard is thinking, I think it's succeeded. Not only that, but black is in such a position that blue is blocking red as well. So Richard's got to move something. I wonder if he's got any chance of a double clearance
Well,
here.
the hands have dropped down the shaft. I think there's a jump shot coming here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Definitely. The stance taken tells us it's a jump shot, Dom, without doubt. Well, didn't gain a lot of that, except he's got his ball nearly halfway down the lawn and he's onside. And Richard's going to have to come across and position his red ball, which came off the east boundary. So you could then decide where to play black to.
Yes, the crowd obviously enjoying their drinks and tea, not leaping forward to replace that ball on the boundary, were they?
No designated ball boys here. Well, he's got a nice block there. They are quite close together. It's possible they could both go. That's going to be a miss between hoop and the balls.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I think I'd have left blue just a little bit further away from black in playing that block for the exact reason you said.
Possible.
Anyway,
cannon and clearing both, yeah.
It's not mattered in the end, but I don't think I'd have put it so close.
And that was a confident hoop run. Well down towards hoop 8. A little bit long actually. Yard, perhaps 2 yards further than ideal.
Well, it is, but it's in its favour is that it's on that west side, so on the short boundary side.
And Richard's made sure he can't get cleared to the far boundary by staying on the other side of the black ball.
That's right, it's that tactic I think some people call taking the outside position.
Yeah.
Black was such a strong clearing ball there that there was no sense in being any side of it where it could be smacked into the long boundaries.
Jose's just positioned black in a central position in front of hoop 8. And Richard's gone in front of it, but it's quite accessible to the blue, I think. The yellow ball.
Well, it is. I think he was
straightforward clearance there.
I think he was playing the block on the hoop shot, but a bit like you, I'm not so sure about that. Although, what happens now? Yeah, red's got to probably clear black.
Got to clear black.
No.
He took the other option and just simply ran the hoop. So we're 4-all.
Sometimes keeping it simple is good.
It could have been, the lie could have made it more or less a double, I think, Dom. So
could have been, couldn't it? And black's gone a little far there, so suddenly Jose...
Yeah, I watched Jose this morning on the other lawn. When he comes across from 8 to 9, he does tend to go quite deep, quite far over with his first ball. I think he's always looking for the first ball to clear back across to the west boundary.
Okay, well it's certainly in a stronger position there than the other side,
but he's
isn't it?
not able to do that now because Richard's taken a deeper position. It's quite easily countered, the tactic of clearing back across. He can send red back to the west boundary, but then of course he leaves a shot for yellow at hoop, so I don't think that would be wise. You can't move your yellow ball very far by clearing it to the boundary.
So, is yellow blocked on blue?
Well, he has taken the option of clearing the red, which does give yellow, I feel, he has a hoop shot. And with Richard's form on the last hoop, I think he'll take it on. rejection this time. And the disadvantage of that is blue is sitting in nicely a very runnable position to go 5-4 ahead.
I was interested by the pace he played that shot at.
Yeah.
I thought he might have gone at that a bit harder to get the run down to hoop 10, but he obviously didn't fancy that and
No.
wanted to make sure of the hoop. So, a little bit playing back to my point from earlier, red is a bit short there up
Yeah.
to hoop 10.
Not so with yellow. He's done a beautiful shot with yellow.
That is very good. Being able to adjust quickly from one shot to the next is a good skill to have, isn't it? Our viewer Sarah Patton's been doing some internet stalking clearly and has determined that Richard's 27.
Well done, Sarah. Thanks for the information. Ooh. That could have very easily peeled the yellow. It hasn't, so it's now a sitting duck for the black ball.
At the pace he played that, I think he intended for yellow to try to get in the jaws.
Nice clearance.
And black also quite well placed for hoop 11. So
Yes, he's really got to try a blocking shot
a block
between blue and hoop, I think.
would be handy here.
I don't think he's got the pace quite. No. So a hoop shot, I think, coming up here with blue ball. No.
Looks a fairly straightforward shot to stop blue away, taking hoop running position with red.
But then black is an inviting target for black, isn't it? Get rid of yellow and blue gets rid of red. Or we even go for
Could go
red
for
with an ambitious in off.
could go for the hoop, could go for the in off. He went for the hoop.
And he got the near wire, which sent him out this side.
So now can yellow block the shot from blue on
Well,
red? He's looking at trying to jaws, I think.
I think so. Richard leant on the hoop to make sure it was firm. I think he's even considering that it might be able to get the ball right into the hoop and let's possibly run it. I will be playing a gentle ball into the jaws, I think, but I don't know that Richard's got that in mind. Oh, he has. But he missed and ran off, surprisingly. Wouldn't have expected that at that pace. I thought it'd have been. Oh, at first, one or two misses creeping in now.
Yeah.
Pressure getting towards the end of the game. We're about to, should be going 5-all, I think, with blue offside, which Richard is going to dispatch to a penalty point, I think.
So I understand the theory is you go east side in this situation. Yes, it's interesting, isn't it, that with the clearing, it's been such a high standard, it is a surprise when a 7-yard clearance gets missed.
Why would you favour east side?
Well, I might be thinking
He's
about
playing it from there. That's wrong. That's wrong. It's a mistake.
That is, yeah, that's definitely not right.
Yeah.
Richard has realised that. So they might need a referee to sort this
Yeah,
out.
come on, Francis.
You'd have thought the logical answer, not knowing this detail of the rules, is that Jose plays it again from the
On the
penalty
correct
point.
spot. I would think so, yeah. I don't think it was a deliberate. It was a mistake.
No, he just
And I
he
think-
just momentarily forgot
yeah.
that it was for the penalty spot,
Without
didn't he?
reading the rules, my feeling is the ball comes back and is played from the correct spot. Francis has sorted it out.
Jose looks slightly relieved, so
Yeah.
is that the decision? He gets
Yeah.
another go from the correct place? It looks like it.
You could say that perhaps Richard should have I paused because Jose was about to take his shot, but I think perhaps Richard should have made sure the ball reached the boundary when he sent it over.
Yes, mental note for next time, yeah.
Yeah. As he turned away when Jose took the shot, and he didn't see till afterwards.
So I think, well, yeah, the theory is, Richard, that east side is better for the reason we saw that when Jose went across with his blocking shot, he was going across the line rather than down a nice blocking line.
Yeah.
As it's happened,
Yeah, true.
Richard's hit the blocking ball anyway,
Yeah.
and now Jose's run a nice hoop for 6-5 and pretty good position at 12.
This time Richard's got a much closer position with the yellow ball, which is matched again by the blue ball going in
So
about 18 inches from the hoop.
yeah, very good shots. What are Red's options here? You would think at this level, Red clearing black is the shot if it can see it, but
There is the peg is in the vicinity of the line. Might not be, Richard hasn't gone for that option. He's gone for
playing in a block,
protecting the yellow ball, which I don't think he has protected the yellow
drifted
ball.
just too far.
I think the yellow ball will be making its way to the boundary.
Oh, but
Oh.
unluckily,
Yeah.
black's just run on and disturbed blue, which was in perfect hoop running position.
I'm not entirely sure that blue can get back to the red.
No, that looks problematic, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think going down the other side of the hoop was the best bet there.
Well, luckily for Jose, blue
Yeah.
could see red.
Black has red just come back in, do you think, here?
Well, coming back in with a hint of trying to block black on yellow
Yeah.
looks quite,
There was no point trying to move black, was there, I don't think, in that
I think
position.
so. I'd have definitely liked that another 2.5 yards down.
Perhaps he was hoping yellow would have collided with red and not gone as far.
Good tight hoop position here needed.
That's not really going to get there. It's
No.
no closer than red.
So given that blue just jumped a bit there and that gave it some topspin and it's followed red, do you think Richard might play red on to blue here, trying to hold position with red?
I think he'll try and block black.
That looks
So
pretty good.
yellow's dispatched and will obviously come back. If you can get between blue and red, it would be a very strong position.
He would.
Big ask from where he is. But
Jose again showing the value of a really central mid-pace clearance there.
that is not bad.
That looks good.
Yeah.
No hesitation from Jose. Maybe he can see red.
No. Now this is your opportunity, Richard.
It
Jose
is.
has advanced some way towards 13, but he's still
and onside.
Yes, still 10 yards from the ideal position, I think, where he needs to be to run 13. But he could leave Richard with some very long clearances required. Oh,
Wow.
that is a big, unexpected mistake by Jose. He's obviously very tight to that peg.
That really was a surprising error.
That is not what we would have expected from the standard his play has been so high. For an error like that was most unexpected.
That was. So 6-all. I was listening to a recent commentary where they said the stats show that
Richard's got it right.
the player that gets first shot would expect to win roughly 2/3 of the time.
Yeah.
But in this case, Richard would have gone favourite, but he's not played the greatest shot with yellow either.
No. Effectively, because of a mistake by black, yellow was the first shot, but he was underweight by a yard and a half. Now he's come onto this side of the hoop with the red. Neither of them are the best position.
A little bit unlucky, just flicked the wire with red, otherwise it was perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now if blue can't get to red, I'd be favouring blocking blue on the hoop. What would you do, Dom?
It's either a block or hit blue to a less favourable position.
He's gone for the block on the hoop and I think he's got it. Might be just too far over. But oh, unlucky. Blue peeling yellow was the most unfortunate shot. I did it myself the other day in a match.
That was unlucky.
Yeah,
Always a possibility though.
yeah.
Sometimes there's
It was quite a gentle shot by Jose and with an unexpected result.
yeah. So from 6-5 behind, Richard wins game 1, 7-6.
Yeah.
And just to trail for the next game, I understand we're going to have some Spanish commentators, which is really good.
Yes, we will be. Our director has told us we're going to be handing over to the Spanish gentlemen who are going to do some commentary in English and Spanish for the Spanish followers as well. So this is going to be a very good opportunity for those in Spain to have a better idea of what's going on than just listening to us.
So we'll look forward to that. In the meantime, reflections on game 1, Richard?
Yeah, very good. Yes, I felt Richard was coming from behind all the way through there, and but it was unlucky for Jose and lucky for Richard at the end. It turned around. So,
Yeah, that shot into the peg
Yeah.
on the first shot to 13 was really quite a key
can you
moment.
just hold that a minute. I'll get the other one. I'll keep my chair.
So as my co-commentator Richard rearranges the furniture, we're looking forward to game 2, and I'm just looking to see who your
Patricio?
commentators are going to be. Patricio, we think,
I think
is looking.
Patricio and Andreas, is it?
Andreas, yeah.
Andres.
Patricio.
Yeah.
We're just introducing you.
Okay, this one's good.
But yeah, a very good standard in that first game. Good comeback from Richard at the end there. He goes game up in this best of 3 final.
Yes, it was at the end. Thank you.
Look forward to watching it back.
I can see Chris Roberts here, who we know was involved in one of the finals. Was it the bowl?
Yep. No.
Oh, he's got a
Jam ball.
he's got a jammed ball. Poor chap.
Right. Shall we
Is it the handover moment? Right, okay, thanks everyone. And we'll
It's
hand over to
farewell from Dom and myself for the moment. We're going to hand over to Andreas and Patricio. Okay, right, they're going to be a couple of minutes yet. You can listen to me for a little bit more. It was a very enjoyable first game. Richard admits himself he was a little bit fortunate right at the end with the peeling of his ball, but
and hitting the peg on the first shot.
True, yes. His first shot down, you expect to be in pole position with that one and hit the peg. Yeah. Things did turn in your favour at the end there, Richard. But that's what you've got to capitalise in this game. Make the most of it in the next one. Definitely. Oh. I'm just going to switch off for a few minutes, and Patricio and Andreas will be with you when we start the next game.
Bueno, aquí estamos Andrés Álvarez Sala y yo, Patricio Garay. Sí. Y nada, vamos a estar comentando el segundo partido de Fito. Después ha perdido en el desempate el primer partido. Una faena, ¿no?
Sí, porque lo tenía muy de cara, la verdad. Y un tiro al desempate, mala fortuna, pegado en el palo. Incluso después Richard Bilton quedándose con sus dos bolas cortas. Y aún así, pues otro segundo tiro de mala fortuna de José, que le ha metido la bola. Y por tanto, el primer set ha sido para Richard Bilton.
Pero bueno, si alguien puede levantar esto es Fito, ¿no? O sea, la verdad...
Sí, después de lo que hemos visto en las semifinales, pues desde luego que hay todavía esperanza de que pueda levantarlo.
Aprovechamos para comentaros que Pepe ha conseguido ganar a Steven Mulliner en el partido. Han decidido jugar al mejor de 19 y ha ganado 18, o sea que Pepe ha quedado tercero de España.
¿Europa?
De Europa, perdona, tiene razón, de Europa. Bueno, azul. Empieza saliendo Fito, ¿no?
Que de España es Edu, que seguro que nos está escuchando, y a ver si se va a enfadar.
Eso, que tercero de España es Edu. ¿Quién se encargó de...?
¿Quién perdió, Edu?
Bueno, vamos a comentar el partido. Muy bien pasado el primer aro. Aquí Bilton, que lo hace bastante bien, tiene que esconderse del azul. A ver. Tiene bastante buena pinta, ¿no? Muy recta. Yo creo que no la ve. Me sorprende muchísimo la capacidad, bueno, es que la capacidad de concentración que tienen estos jugadores. Bilton es increíble, bueno, dentro y fuera del juego, es que está siempre concentrado.
Bilton es un jugador, parece que no va con él la cosa, ¿no? Por así decirlo. Todo el campeonato ha hecho una remontada tras otra, incluso en la fase de grupos. Los dos jugadores
Sí,
están ahora en la final, José y Richard. Les tocó en el mismo grupo y jugaron un partido que el primer set se lo llevó José 7-1, y en el segundo set iba José ganando 6-1, es decir, iba 7-1 y camino a 7-1, 7-1, 7-1. Pues Richard en ese segundo set fue capaz de remontar de 6-1 a 7-6, llevar el partido al tercer set y ganarle en el tercer set. O sea, una remontada como pocas veces has visto.
Sí, de las mayores remontadas que hemos visto en la vida. Y sí, pero son de esos que te metes en un juego en el que no consigues dar nada y te lo acaba levantando. Y Richard Bilton es que es un jugadorazo, o sea... Nada, no tocó nada.
Sí, porque el croquet, como todos sabéis, vais mucho por momentos, ¿no? Entonces, a lo mejor son rachas de minutos, de incluso de días. A veces pues coges una buena racha y te pones 4 o 5 aros arriba y a continuación la coge el otro, y por eso siempre es más o menos habitual conseguir ver esas grandes remontadas. Es verdad que también es habitual verlas siempre en más o menos en los mismos jugadores, ¿no? Aquellos jugadores que no pierden la fe ni la esperanza en ningún momento. Y desde luego los dos que están jugando han hecho buena prueba de ello, como decimos, en el partido de grupo entre los dos y José en el partido de semifinales que hemos visto antes con Pepe.
Sí, la verdad que ha tenido muchísimo mérito lo de Fito, porque yo he estado viendo todo este campeonato a Pepe y parecía imparable. El único que ha conseguido robarle un partido fue Stuart Smith. Fallo... Ah, lo ha metido. Lo ha metido limpio, ¿no? Ni se ha notado. Nada, está súper fino. Pero eso, tiene mucho mérito el haber eliminado a Pepe, porque Pepe estaba jugando a un nivel increíble. Bueno, tú tuviste la suerte, suerte o mala suerte.
La desgracia.
La desgracia de jugar contra él, y es que estaba jugando como un robot. Así impresionante, la verdad.
Sí, estábamos hablando y comentando antes, ahora incluso con Pepe ya estaba un poco más calmado después del nervio de las semifinales, que ha habido un momento clave, casi el aro 7 del segundo partido entre ellos dos, que es cuando Fito o José le ha empezado a devolver las bolas y a quitarle bolas a Pepe. Entonces le ha hecho por primera vez en toda la semifinal pues a Pepe empezar a dudar e incluso a fallar, Y ese aro para mí ha sido clave, que es cuando Fito se ha conseguido meter un poco en la eliminatoria y va aún así, 4-2 abajo, aro 7. Y ha sido el momento en que Pepe por primera vez en 4 días empezó a fallar un poco, a que se le ha visto pues humano, ¿no?
A ver, rojo, negra. ¿Aquí tú qué harías, Pepe? ¿Colocarías negra o vas a por amarilla? Bueno, no, es que amarilla no tienes que ir a por ella, porque si la envías al fondo, luego te limpia desde fuera. Justo. Aquí hay que colocar y luego amarilla te va a echar atrás y desde ahí tienes que limpiar hacia afuera. Es buena colocación esa. Claro, Bilton aquí está pensando qué hacer con azul, porque sabe que Fito luego no va a fallar esa roja.
Quizás incluso estaba pensando en bloquearla, ¿no? Lo que pasa que está
Pero es que
un
aquí tienes un
metro.
problema, porque si bloqueas el aro, tiene la roja. Yo creo que la va a enviar al fondo y va a rezar a que le falle ahora. Eso es. Uf. Tiene muy buena pinta esa bola. Parece que ha conseguido bloquear la roja con la amarilla, quitando el azul. Pero creo que ha conseguido bloquear roja, pero tiene, si no me equivoco, pasito para el aro. Que obligar a tirar a estos jugadores es una muy mala opción. De lo que estábamos comentando. Le ha bloqueado la roja, pero no sé si es mejor bloquear el aro. Qué barbaridad cómo está. Esto es un 3-0, ¿no? 3-0, sí.
3-0,
Qué
sí,
barbaridad.
sí. Ha salido ahora Fito, parece que muy a tope, quiere igualar el partido, la final cuanto antes. Sí, lo que dices, Patricio, a veces no sé si es mejor bloquear bola o bloquear aro. Y además decía ahora Pepe precisamente que había tirado en la semifinal 6, 7, 8 tiros desde lejos al aro y se había metido, y acaba de meter un aro espectacular.
Y el anterior también ha sido increíble, que no ha tocado ni aros. Y eso que en estos aros es muy complicado, hay que pedir permiso para meterse en estos aros. No, porque hombre, nosotros estamos acostumbrados a aros españoles que son muy agradecidos, y estos aros, en como no vayas dentro, te escupe la bola sin ningún tipo de problema. La roja tiene muy buena pinta, parece que se ha escondido el azul.
Sí, pero la negra es muy buena bola,
Sí,
porque
pero
conseguir meterla en esos 3-4 metros entre la roja y el aro, lo que le hace a la roja, más quedándose ahora la amarilla como vemos corta, lo que le hace a la bola roja es dudar muchísimo.
La clave es de cuando se te pone, sitúa bien la roja, meterle una bola que le haga dudar bastante. Aunque en estos niveles te la meten sin dudarlo. Nada, joder, está fino, quiere mandar un mensaje. Joder, vaya bolón.
Bolón en todo el centro. Y Richard ahora sí tiene, no vamos a decir un match ball, pero es de fallar esta bola sería un posible 4-0 para Fito.
Una cosa que me sorprende mucho, después del desempate que acaba de hacer Fito, o sea, a ver, un segundo. Joder, muy buena quitada. Después del desempate, o sea, primero das al pijo, luego le metes la bola, volver y ir a por el partido es complicado. O sea, hay mucho jugador que se hundiría con eso. Y ha salido a todo.
Sí, le hemos visto que se metía en la cafetería, seguramente a desconectar y a intentar olvidar cuanto antes esos dos golpes de mala fortuna. Y nada, a los 5 o 10 minutos ha vuelto a salir y parece, de momento, que lo tiene olvidado completamente. Al final se trata mucho de eso, de la capacidad, quien tenga la capacidad de olvidar los malos golpes y quedarte solo con los buenos, con las buenas sensaciones, tiene pues mucho ganado.
Fallo de Richard Bilton, lo que decíamos, en cuanto no da en el centro es que te escupe la bola. Y esta bola, uy, casi le falta una vueltecita para tapar la negra.
Es curioso el swing de Richard, porque si te fijas, ahora que lo estamos viendo de frente, cuando está haciendo el backswing,
Es completamente girado.
completamente girado, luego rectifica y bueno,
En el último
evidentemente el golpe va a tener una precisión muy alta.
Está apuntando en amarilla. Azul tiene tiro, sí, debe ser. Está jugando muy agresivo, ¿no? Uy, va. Primer fallo. Una pena porque tenía ya el 4-0 y se le está complicando este aro. No, parece que tiene tiro, pero mira, muy buena. Pero Richard Bilton es un jugador muy bueno. O sea, te pega saltos muy buenos. Va a tener 2 oportunidades. Está viendo si puede sacar la azul. Yo creo que con la roja puede sacarla. Pero no. Ha decidido intentar tapar que la negra no quite la amarilla para saltar con la amarilla. Salto para el 3-1.
Lo peor que le podía pasar
Sí.
a Richard, no solo falla el salto, sino que le mete el punto y le da la salida, la ventaja. Y además la roja es que no va a poder jugar después para intentar acercarse al aro. 4-0 y salida para Fito, se le pone muy de cara.
La coloca perfecta. Un pelín cortita puede ser. Pero
Pues
ahí
sí.
va, claro, y roja no tiene salida. Va a tener que hacer una quitada desde la esquina para intentar romper la racha. Esto es mucho de lo que habla Andrés siempre, que yo siempre aprendí mucho de él. Pero no, lo que dice, o sea, que hay rachas y rachas, y en cuanto uno tiene rachas malas es que hay que aprovecharla lo más rápido posible, no parar y a tope.
Sí, y por el otro lado, no hay que venirse abajo cuando el rival está en una de las rachas buenas de hacer 2, 3, 4 aros seguidos, porque igual que la tiene en el momento contrario la tienes tú.
Tenemos de comentarios saludos a Andrés y Patricio con todo Fito de Brian Lozano. Y Nicolás Tenizo también está por ahí.
Hombre, pues un saludo para nuestro amigo mexicano Brian, también para Nicolás, por supuesto. Una pena que no haya podido venir este año, pero seguro que en el Mundial que va a estar jugando y seguro que va a hacer un papelazo.
5-0 se opone Fito.
Y también, por cierto, en el equipo está Nicolás del
Tenemos,
próximo Test Match contra Inglaterra.
Tenemos el Test Match, que este partido es un mensaje, ¿no? Para el Test Match. Porque si no me equivoco, Richard Bilton también está en el equipo.
Richard Bilton está en el equipo. Este partido podría ser el Test Match, podría ser el Test Match Pepe que acabe de ganar a Stephen,
es
o
que
el que le ganó yo a Stuart también.
Eso iba a decir, se han mandado muchos mensajes porque Pepe ha ganado a Stephen Mulliner, Andrés ha ganado a Stuart Smith y ahora Fito, hombre, todos sabemos que vamos con Fito este partido, o sea que va a ganar a Richard Bilton.
Bueno, pues
va por todo, ¿eh? Ni se
5-0,
coloca ni
¿no?
nada. Empuja Azul y ahora Azul, si no se ha puesto muy reja... ¿el pijo este lo tiene delante o...?
No, yo creo que tiene tiro. Es un 5-0. Desde luego la Azul Valaro directa, ¿no? Porque no tiene sentido ahora intentar quitar la bola roja teniendo el 2.
Toma ya.
Qué
Toma ya,
espectáculo.
6-0.
Qué espectáculo como está, jugando ahora.
increíble, no ha fallado nada.
No ha fallado nada. Richard ahora, pues nada, es un partido que tiene, no digamos perdido, pero prácticamente este set
Bueno,
fuera.
recordamos lo que has comentado antes. Richard ya le ha hecho bueno, de 6-0 no, pero sí que le ha remontado un 6-1, ¿eh? ¿Se le pasará esto por la cabeza?
No, yo creo que ahora Fito lo tiene también en mente, ¿no? Porque todavía lo comentaba ayer, la remontada que le había hecho. Me extrañaría mucho que se dejase remontar. Un 6-0.
Es imposible. Lo que sí, hombre, este partido tenía que llegar al tercero, o sea que eso, por esa parte, muy bien. Y
parece que le hemos dado, o le estamos dando suerte al español, así que si ahora vienen a sacarnos de aquí.
Nos quedamos aquí. Negra, amarilla. Amarilla, a ver. No, va azul, perdona. Azul. Azul va por roja y negra, si tiene tiro, se tirará. Uy. Bueno. En algún momento iba a fallar alguna bola, pero bueno, mientras sean estas dos, a ver Richard Bilton para meter su primer aro del segundo partido. Pedro Lozano, así se repone todo un campeón. Abrazo a los dos comentarios. Pues sí, la verdad es que es una manera... buen aro. 6-1 y la bola se pasa. Arazo. Bueno, se pasa por muy poco. Es una bola muy buena esa.
Es la bola que tenía que buscar, ¿no? Va 6-0 abajo, tiene que buscar un pasa del aro y largo para intentar, bueno, pues tener alguna opción. Tiene muy difícil, pero es verdad que cuando ya vas al 6-4 y te vas a los aros del medio, ahí todo puede pasar. Entonces Richard lo que tiene que, su objetivo, lo que tiene que hacer como sea es intentar, es difícil evidentemente, pero intentar como sea 3 aros más, irse al medio. Y ahí, bueno, pues como decimos, ahí es donde se ven siempre las remontadas, ¿no? 6-4, el partido todavía no está cerrado. El otro día decía Stephen Mulliner, tenía mucha gracia, como decía, si quieres ganar un partido de croquet, lo que tienes que hacer es ir perdiendo 5-3. Es verdad que 5-3, desde ese resultado se ven muchísimas remontadas.
En mi partido con Stephen Mulliner en el bloque, el primer partido me iba ganando 5-3, le gané 7-5, no, 7-6, perdona. Y el segundo yo le iba ganando 5-3 y me acabo ganando 7-5. O sea que tienes mucha razón, porque una vez que el 5-3, en
Bueno,
cuanto
es que
metes...
son el aro 9,
sí,
si lo metes largo pasas el 10 y
10
tienes tú el tiro
y el
del 10 al
11 tú colocas y luego es una quitada, generalmente suele ser bastante fácil. A ver, se tira...
Que además de ser una quitada corta, vienes con la inercia de haber metido el 5-4 y el 5-5.
Eso es, y ya, bueno, en cuanto vas 5-3 abajo y metes el 5-5, piensas que puedes hacer todo. O sea, ya te ves ganando y esa mentalidad ayuda muchísimo. Tiro de Richard Bilton para el 6-2. Y lo mete 6-2. Pues nada, aquí la clave es lo que decíamos.
Fito lo que tiene que hacer ahora es
colocar muy bien.
En los largos es verdad es más difícil, buscar una buena colocación y que se tenga que jugar Richard pues ya el tiro de cara o cruz de unos 15 metros con la bola amarilla.
Está un pelín pasada.
Esta no es buena.
O sea, quedan muchos aros, pero es verdad que esto es el primer match point.
Este es
porque
un match point.
Te gana este y es lo que comentábamos antes.
Pero
Si lo mete muy bien, se te complica la cosa.
Yo aquí creo que, aparte de que la bola se haya ido larga porque le ha dado fuerza, pero para mí es un error de Fito. Él tiene que buscar, sobre todo y ante todo, tener tiro al aro para meterle esa presión al otro. Y tienes un tiro al aro que es para ganar el partido. Es decir, la bola azul tendría que ser mucho más línea de bola roja. Da igual que sea un tiro largo al aro, pero tener un tiro al aro es importantísimo. Tienes tiro al aro para ganar el partido.
Ahora Richard lo ha hecho muy bien. La roja está en línea, o sea, para que lo único que puede hacer es quitarte atrás. O sea, las malas va a tener tiro. A ver si consigue quitarla por un sitio donde esté bloqueado.
Pues mira, intenta bloquear.
Mira, bueno, esa es otra muy buena opción. Roja.
Es una opción, buena opción. de mucho riesgo.
Parece
Y
que
parecía que la había salido, pero
la tiene. Aquí es donde empiezan las vocecitas. Te ves 6-0.
aquí empiezan los
Claro,
nervios,
sí.
efectivamente. Empiezan los nervios, pero también
Claro,
para
para
Richard,
Bilton, sí,
porque
sí,
de
sí,
repente
sí.
pasar a un 6-0, a un posible 6-3, 6-4 si va al 10, de repente decir estoy completamente fuera, puedo tener una opción,
Eso
también hoy hace que pues haga, salvo que Fito remedie, Richard va a tener con esa bola amarilla tiro al aro.
A ver, esa negra. Qué pena.
Y
Pena.
esta lo que decimos, ¿no? Ahora Richard ve que si mete esta bola se pone 6-3.
Esta es muy complicada porque en cualquier caso la manda a la banda, pero aquí sabe que tiene que pasarla hasta el fondo, o sea que no le sirve con pasarlo. Pues vamos a ver cómo lo hace Richard. Joder, y bolón. Pasa por el lado izquierdo
Pues
del
mira,
aro.
lo está
Hemos pasado
haciendo
miedo.
Richard, ha hecho su trabajo en el aro 7 pasándolo muy largo hasta el 8 y en el aro 9 pasándolo muy largo hasta el 10, porque son las opciones que decíamos que tiene el de recuperar en los aros largos. Pero luego está el error que ha hecho Fito para mí del aro 8 al 9, una colocación muy mala, que se ha quedado sin tiro.
Eso es lo que comentábamos. Bueno, en este aro es fácil quedarse con tiro, pero eso, o sea, darte opciones de cerrar el partido. Y esa roja es increíble. Seguramente haya quitado tiro. Y negra parece que está forzando. Tiene muy buena pinta. Esa negra también es muy buena.
No sé si es demasiado buena.
Demasiado
es
buena
decir,
porque quitar esa roja es muy complicada porque seguramente el centro no le sirva porque vaya al aro y el lado derecho no le sirve porque quita negra también. Entonces,
y por supuesto el lado izquierdo tampoco.
por supuesto, exacto. O sea que, uff. Y aquí, claro, Richard lo ha visto. ¿Y qué haces aquí? ¿Cómo quitas esa? Claro, y meterle la bola, eso sí que es la... Uf.
Lo que
Lo que hemos
decías,
comentado.
¿no?
Ha tenido que forzar un poquito hacia la derecha. Era la única opción, aunque se quitara su propia bola, pero es que no tenía más opción.
Aquí Richard duda, no sabe si jugarse el tiro, quitar a la negra, que es la que barrerá la amarilla, o colocar y tener pues la posición ganada del aro, que es por lo que opta.
Pero es impresionante, un partido de 6-0. Aquí está ya peleando para impedir el 6-4. Joder, muy buena bola. Esa bola es buenísima. La ha dejado muerta, muy buena.
Y esta bola sí es buena,
A ver.
esa bola negra es muy buena,
Le da
porque
la vida.
puede ser por fin la bola primer tiro que tenga José para conseguir llevarse el partido.
La azul la tiene perfecta para limpiar roja hacia afuera. Hombre. Ya por fin. A ver. Uf, yo aquí no sé qué hubiera hecho. Bueno. Uf, es que claro.
Bueno, es que
metes esa bola,
ahora esta que va a quitar José es muy importante, hacia dónde la quitas. De poder elegir, ¿vale? Está a una distancia en la que...
Joder, un bolón. Muy gracioso porque en esta situación Fito se siente amenazado de que parece que ya está cerca. Richard ve que le queda un montón. O sea, los dos están incómodos en esta situación.
Sí, es una situación en la que hasta hace un rato José estaba muy tranquilo, está nervioso porque lo tiene muy cerca, ¿no? Y Richard efectivamente ve que está muy cerca ahora, le queda, pero bueno, sabe que puede estar ahí, ¿no? Si hace este aro, que lo estábamos diciendo hace 2 o 3 aros, si hace este aro 6-4, se mete completamente.
Y aquí no se la juega, va a quitar amarilla. se coloca, se deja muy bien. Yo creo que no le ve roja.
Es curioso y lo de los nervios que íbamos comentando, ¿eh? Ha estado pasando aros todo
Sí,
este
sí,
partido
eso
de
podía
5,
haber
6,
cerrado
7,
en
8 y
cualquier
9 metros. Tenía un tiro de 1,5 metros para cerrar el partido, pero claro.
Hombre, es que es una final de Campeonato de Europa. No se llega todos los días. Lo ha ganado una vez, ¿no? En el año 2019, puede ser que dijisteis.
2017 lo ganó en Vistahermosa contra Mullins, precisamente.
Yo creo que aquí ya lo tiene, porque creo que es roja, no es negra. Pero vamos, lo que nos han demostrado las semifinales y la final anterior es que aquí, por mucho que parezca que ya está acabado, el creo que te da la vuelta en cualquier momento. Ah, pues sí que veía la bola. ¿Esto lo ves? Pues eso.
Vaya bolón y acaba de
Sí.
meter Bilton.
Es que la cosa es que las dan muy en el centro y se quedan muy cerca. Entonces uy,
No es mala. Yo creo que ha querido quedarse corto precisamente para poder
Exacto.
jugar azul-roja, ¿eh? Porque
Azul va a ir,
la
sí,
roja
sí,
es
sí.
una amenaza clara.
al aro no va, pero por la bola sí que va. Sabe que... Ah, pues no.
Hay que ir a por la
Pues
roja.
no, se va a colocar. Yo creo que son los nervios, pero es que eso es muy peligroso porque creo que le ha dejado tiro, ¿eh? Y aquí Richard no creo que desperdicie una oportunidad de tiro.
¿A la o a la negra crees que va?
Yo creo que negra porque quitas negra y tira con amarilla. Pero es que yo creo lo que no hay que hacer cuando vas 6-3 es entrar en el juego este. Intentar cerrarlo lo antes posible. Muy buena quitada. ¿Y ahora negra irá por amarilla o...?
Ya la negra amarilla sin
Sí,
duda.
sí, la está mirando. Muy buena. No le ha dado por el lado que quería, pero muy buena bola. Lo malo es que estas a mí siempre me dan muchísimo miedo. Pero tienes la azul entera y el fallo por la derecha es aro. O sea, te dan como mucho margen.
Tiene un golpe
Hombre, complicado, tenso.
complicado y tenso, pero con premio en caso de fallo, incluso por la derecha, ¿no?
Lo que comentábamos, la falla por la derecha y casi la mete. Bueno, parece ser que esto... Sí, Fito está bebiendo agua, ahora meterá el 7-3 y bueno, victoria muy merecida. Porque ha jugado
Victoria
un partidazo,
merecida, sí, victoria merecida, ha jugado fenomenal y luego, bueno, pues Richard Bilton se ha empezado a meter más en el partido con 3 aros seguidos y casi le ponen un serio aprieto. Si mete este, si se mete José en un aprieto, ¿eh?
Es que mete este y es lo que llevamos comentando todo el campeonato. Aquí a la mina, no, te lo cambian. Enhorabuena, Fito. Nos vamos al tercer partido.
Okay, well, we're starting what will be the final game, and Richard chooses to go off with yellow. A bit of a bobble on that yellow, which may turn out to be quite fortunate. That I think he's stopped pretty well.
Yeah.
Due south may be a foot or so long, but that won't matter. And he's chosen not to go deep, but in fact has gone slightly long and north of yellow, which is an interesting choice. If he was trying for blocking position, that was pretty ambitious from that range. Now red is going in, and of course would like to block any attempt by it, but that's gone too far as well. Well, all depends on the exact positioning, but clearly with red looking like a very good short hoop, it's pretty important that Jose hits yellow, because otherwise it's a very easy clearance to the north on black, and Richard might then hope to survive the shot back and then run up to hoop 2 with red. But
Do you think yellow can see blue?
I don't know, but well, it doesn't matter now. Although, of course, it's not completely bad news, because, of course, it can't be cleared up to the far end of the lawn. But what Richard can do, assuming he can see the hoop, and if he can't, then he can block. Interesting. Well, that's a surprise. Well, he's through, so one up to Richard, but hasn't got anywhere like as far as he would like. So that gives Jose a chance to get black in. Well, yeah, that's okay-ish, about 4 yards back. Yellow needs to get beyond black. It's certainly done that. Has it gone too far? Well, no, it could be very good, but it may well be leaving black a shot on the hoop. We'll see. Well, blue's just skated past the eastern upright of 2. Richard declining to shoot, but would prefer simply to block. But he's gone past the upright as well. So it's Jose who has the chance, assuming that he's not blocked by yellow, to square things at 1-all. But in fact, he's not immediately leaping on this. Suggests there must be a blockage. Well, the ideal is to get yellow wired from black, put a bit of pressure on Jose's options. he's tried to get position. It's hard to tell whether he's succeeded in getting it past the plane of the non-playing side. If he hasn't, then it's not as much help as he would like. If he has, then that's a pretty powerful position, particularly if yellow can see red and can complete the peel and perhaps make some progress towards 3 at the same time. But I presume that he hasn't, given the way that Jose is playing. And the question is whether he can perhaps get enough mallet onto the back of the board to hit black away, because he obviously can't run the hoop and score the point from this position. No, just well, perhaps if he obviously couldn't, so this gives Jose a relatively straightforward jump of about five feet. Uses the crouch approach. Well, I'm not sure what happened there. It looks as though he mishit it and just hit it on the side, but took the ball away from the hoop, but took himself away as well. At the moment, both players happy to take a fairly cautious approach. Plenty of cat and mouse. Now black playing to block yellow shot at blue. And it looks as though a jump is going to be used to cope with that problem. And very well done indeed. And left blue with a distinctly missable return shot at red. But doesn't miss, although got a bit of a bobble, which meant as much energy went into the striker's ball as into the object ball. Leaves Richard with a fairly short return clearance to make. I'll centre ball that nicely. Well, obvious opportunity. If red runs, I don't know that it does, just put in the block between blue and red. Yep, looks as though he's managed that. only option left was to try and bombard yellow onto red. Always difficult, and he just missed a bit on the left. So this looks as though it's going to be 2-0 to Richard. Oh no, just clearing black instead. Well, leaving a sort of 18-yard return. But hits red instead. That's a bit of a tragedy for him. As he inspects whether the ball will still run, but I think both blue and black can see it. Richard practices his swing, wondering what went wrong with what was a comparatively straightforward shot. This time it's Jose's turn. With a quick bounce off the hoop, he stays in really good position, now forcing Richard to do the defensive clearing. And he should have some sort of hoop from where red's finished, although obviously he's very close to blue. In comes black. Well, again, that gives Richard a chance to stop shot that away, and he'll be hoping to take position. Yep, that may have gone too far to the west, but solid shot, and once more Richard exerts a measure of control over this hoop. And chooses to stop blue away a little more while holding red close to the scene of the action. So Jose is banking on his superb shooting skills to take care of if he gets basically punted away by red. Black will go back into second corner, and then will have to come down and clear yellow. So though blue's in very, very tight position. So blue's taken away, but this does give Jose the chance for a classic stop shot clearance, which should leave black very close to where yellow was, and yellow gets shunted away. That last interchange, a good example of the power of a really good positional shot. Blue was so good that it had to be dealt with as the immediate priority, and that then led Jose having the chance to take charge a bit. Alan is trying a double clearance. He is trying a double clearance. And using the finger pointing method to see the spot on the circumference of the near ball which he had to hit to make it hit the other ball. Well attempted block of blue by yellow. But didn't work, and it's 1-1. So that double clearance, as they often do, led to the point being scored. Famous example being before hoop 10 in the final game of the Bamford-Nasser World Championship final in 2013. But reasonable ball in by Richard. It's right on top of the hoop. Now Black's just trying to, that may well have worked. I'm trying to block rather than to go behind. And this time Jose misses. Now that's a very nice attempt to, depending where Black goes, oh no, it's straight enough to be run. Just wondering if he had to be placed in a position where it was wired from blue by red and straight in front of the hoop to make Black's job difficult, but that's all academic. And that's a very good hoop 3, 2-1 to Richard Bilton, and down close enough that he should be able to deal with any ball that is sent down by Jose. That looks quite weighty. Yep, that's gone somewhat beyond the hoop and off to the west. And Richard goes in very tight indeed. So with the exception of yellow, everything's been hit pretty firmly. Which is content just to take wired position from Black and rely on the fact that blue has no choice but to deal with red. So given he decides to try and do a cuddle, which doesn't seem to have worked, so it's going to be 3-1. So 3-1 it is. So that's a good Black. Yellow to the traditional position, so it can't be affected by any clearance of red on Black. Now joined by Dominic Nuns.
Good afternoon again, everyone.
Yeah. So traditional third shot, clearing the enemy ball, making black look fairly lonely, but forcing Richard to go for the clearance, knowing he won't have a ball anywhere near 5, even if he succeeds. Well, that looked as though it might have been a sort of controlled clearance attempt, but it missed, and now Jose's got a chance to bring it back to 2-3. Probably too angled to get all the way up to 6. No, quite wrong. He's done a very good job there.
That's an excellent shot. Yeah, he played a very similar shot against me in our match.
That is superb.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So barring a good clearance, that is looking like 3-all already.
Yep. You can just see this one going to 13 as well.
We've had a lot of matches with good close, tight matches with
Well, I think
finishes
you've
at
got
Hoops
people
13.
with very similar ability, having similar runs of success and then missing a few. So Richard's having 2 goes at this.
Faint chance of the in-off.
No, well, certainly that's always a possibility.
Less likely with where red is.
Oh yes, that's...
Well, even a hit there, he figured he was struggling to get back in that hoop.
Entirely, yes. I mean, basically, as you say, 3-all.
Didn't want to be out of position with both balls.
No. Although, in fact, where he's put red, if Jose was feeling very ambitious, I'm sure he won't, he could try a sort of split, would take himself towards 7, but send red miles away, which would make it a bit more difficult for red to get tight position if he wanted it, that is, at...
So he could have jaws black and then look to do that next shot. Yeah.
Well, no, I was thinking that, yeah, he wouldn't do that from this range because red could easily... I think red was really there just to prevent jawsing because of the threat of the jump. And now we have the traditional battleground with very short shots being on offer around 7. First thing for the person who's lost 6 is to make sure you're in a threatening position, and he's more or less managed that, maybe a fraction short. Well, good shot. I prefer it the other way round with blue on the north boundary and yellow on the west, but he'll settle for that. So Richard puts red back in again.
I think both players are very familiar with this lawn now, but
Yes.
Stephen, Richard Brooks and I wondered in game 1 whether it was a slight disadvantage for Richard that he'd played his semi on lawn 5, which is
is
usually
very
much
quick.
faster,
Yes,
and these lower lawns are a bit slower. Have you played much on lawns 1, 2 and 3 yourself?
I have. I've had one. I've had 2 games on 1 and 1 on 2, 1 and 3, and you're quite right. I mean, 2 was, I think they hadn't been able to mow as much. It was noticeably slower. But 5's the fastest. I actually had to hit a bit harder on 4 as well, where I played in the 3rd, 4th playoff, and found myself falling short quite often. It's a successful clearance of black.
Looking for a wiring as well on.
Don't think he was really worrying about that. He just wanted to make sure the blue had its hands fully occupied with clearing red. And doubt that's really what he had in mind, because now he's much further away. This is the trouble. If you want to do a controlled clearance, you really must try and hit centre ball. And that looks like quite a useful potential wire.
Spot. Yeah, certainly was available, wasn't it? And that does look pretty good.
No, but I think probably wide from blue, but black got there first. And that is the right way round as far as Jose is concerned. Now he's got a potential shot with black at the hoop, whereas red really hasn't. This has to go into blocking position, which it might well have done.
Would you be aiming to be a little tighter the hoop there, or not take the risk?
I think the one disaster is to not be far enough forward to have a hoop yourself. The game's all about putting meaningful threats in, and if your opponent knows that you cannot score the point with the next shot, it gives them a much greater sense of freedom to have a crack at a long hoop.
Red looks to be clearing blue here.
It does, yeah.
We got a good view of Richard's swing from this angle, and Pepe Riva just pointed out something to me he'd noticed in their match, that Richard's shoulder does something as he casts, his right shoulder, which is quite an interesting feature. All croquet players have their individual quirks to their styles and swings, and that's one of Richard's.
Well, you're always searching for a completely consistent process leading to what you hope is a completely consistent swing, and I know better than most how difficult it is to maintain the same rhythm throughout. I think as a match goes on, I find myself a tendency to get slightly quicker because, if you like, the sort of excitement's mounting, and it doesn't take much to throw things off. And I believe the majority of croquet players benefit from being very still on their feet and with their bodies before they strike. There are a few who take a completely different view, and the person I always quote is John Solomon, who was the great player of the 50s and 60s and 70s, and his view was that you had to be in a state almost of sort of rhythmic harmony, and you always struck the ball at the same point in your body motion. Well, it obviously worked pretty well for him, but for most people, I think, the steadier they are on their feet, the better their chances of success. So that was an attempt, I think, both to clear blue and get into the jaws, but they're difficult shots to bring off, and hasn't quite worked.
We mentioned earlier that, of course, we're playing on the John Solomon lawn today.
They are indeed,
as
yes.
is proudly displayed on the hut over on the south boundary amongst all the international flags.
Well, this was the first court I ever played on outside my home club of Parkston in 1976 in a tournament. I had played a couple of clubs in the East Anglian area before, in 75 in matches. But I came here and came down on the afternoon before things started on the Monday, because that's what happened with the 6-day tournaments of those days, and played a friendly against a friend called John Phillips, who was a barrister, and we had a slightly absurd one-ball game on this very court when automatic watering was unknown and every hoop had its own hill, and it was exotic stuff. And I ended up achieving the fairly unlikely coup, the court being the other way round to the way it is now. So what we now see as hoop 6 was actually hoop 5 and rover, and I ran penult hard down to what was then the south boundary and tried to lag into position because John was in front of 4-back or 10. Well, my ball passed the western side of the hoop, mounted a little slope and rolled back down the slope and ran the hoop, which is there are many people who've run hoop 12 from the south boundary legally. Anyway, back to this. It's more cat and mouse up at hoop hoop 7.
There was an important clearance from Jose there.
There
a
was,
long
which is
clearance.
now
He only
really
flicked it,
put
but
left black in position.
he needed to move the ball that was in front of the hoop, and he managed to.
Yeah, in fact that was hitting with blue, so now Richard has to return the compliment with red. But misses. So 3-all could become 4-3.
You're definitely going for the hoop here as
Oh,
black,
yes.
not considering the stop shot.
I
clearance.
must admit, I must be getting... No, good heavens above. That's the...
Stop
Well,
shot clearance it is. He fancy
I
getting the
do.
draws.
I must admit, yeah, it's not my style of play. I think that you have to play golf croquet from the front foot. If you've got, you know, a hoop of less than 2 yards, and this was a very good reason, I would always take it on. Among other things, I want my opponents to know that they can't afford to leave me those hoops. And I've seen games get into a real morass or stagnation because neither player appears to be prepared to take on a less than fairly easy hoop. Well, that's interesting. Whether yellow is completely blocked by black, I'm not sure. But now if Richard can see black and can clear it away, the advantage may have shifted back to him. Yeah,
It has, and that's exactly why we both thought that black attempting the hoop would have.
unless it was
perhaps been the
much
preferable
more
tactic.
difficult than it seemed to be from us. Yeah. But one thing I do notice, Richard's not, hitting the ball very hard. So, if you think of any of the Egyptians, black would have been on the south. But that's a miss. Would have been on the south boundary every single time. I mean, where their own ball would have been an interesting speculation, probably on a side boundary somewhere. I always felt when playing the more aggressive Egyptians, there was an excellent chance of being given quite a few easy hoops because they'd had a go at something from some distance, bounced off the hoop, and finished up 20 yards away, as they don't hold back at all. Well, that's 4-3, but all the way down to the south boundary.
I didn't hear any sound of wire
No,
on that at all.
I think he was pretty straight, and he's only missed hoop 8 by a couple of feet.
So clean as a whistle on that one.
Yep.
And as you say, we don't know the exact angle, but if Jose did have some sort of hoop with black, he will be kicking himself
He will.
a bit.
Yes. I mean, it's bad psychology as well. I mean, now he's really got to make sure he gets. But that's too hot. That can't possibly be. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it has just. Yeah, it did slow down remarkably fast. About 5 yards out, I thought that was destined to go past the hoop, which would be a mistake in itself.
But that southern third of the lawn, as we mentioned, just slowing it up enough.
Yes, well, it's where the water has collected. It really did put its anchors on.
So if blue is wired from yellow, that's a commanding position at this.
It is, yeah. This game is currently sort of going with serve, as they say. Although I say Jose did have a real chance to take a lead at the last hoop. He's got it again. It's a good contact, but it's not really a million miles away, and that leaves really Jose a 7-7 yarder on red. And he certainly, swings with great freedom, and that's an excellent shot because he's been able to get a lot of cut, bring blue almost over to 9. So, as I say, in the golfing world, this is a must-make because he could be losing his lead and going behind 5-4.
That's a very good result. But yes, we certainly saw, like you said, Richard's not one of the real power players, and that was all as a consequence of that. Of course, later in the summer, when even this slower lawn would be running quite a lot faster, then blue would have been.
That's a good shot. That is definitely very helpful because then blue will have to come back.
Almost worth a hoop and a half because of that.
Yeah, quite right. Well, the ball behind, then hope you can clear black with red. But the trouble is, of course, you're clearing it onto the short side. So he's taking it immediately. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
No doubt for that.
His shooting routine. Yeah.
Yep, that's absolutely centre ball then. Jose's back into position with no problem.
The trouble is with having hit that
And
clearing
has
centre ball is that Jose with his more powerful clearing does have a chance to
well,
get
exactly,
rid of
that
yellow
is
quite some distance.
Not the ideal outcome. He's sent black about as far away from the action as he can. So if Richard were to clear blue, or blue might need to jump red and make a mess of it, Richard now could be favourite for 9 as well, but it's a big if. He's first of all, hopefully for him, got to clear blue. And he does.
Yeah, good shot. That was important, wasn't it?
Well, he stuck to his job. Now Jose's, I imagine, just going to run into red reasonably gently. No full out. Oh, the hoop, even better. Well, that's probably felt he had no option. So 4 all, but black is nowhere close. So we'll probably just hammer down to the south boundary. So this needs to be a good one. And it will count as a pretty good one. It's angled.
That.
Yeah,
I'd
take
that. Yeah. Yes, I was just having a chat with Pepe Riva, who was defeated in the semi-final against Jose, who we're watching now, and Pepe was somewhat bemoaning the fact that Jose scored a succession of 7-yard hoops, not unlike that one.
Yes.
Very, very smooth hoop stroke from Jose.
Yes, most unfair when they do it, but unfortunately it's not illegal.
Indeed. Well, yeah, it's a European Championships. You expect the standard to be high, and
You
it
do.
certainly has been.
Yeah. It's got a very relaxed Irish grip. Adopted the bent back mallet shaft or handle quite some time ago now. So trying to clear red. Actually, I think managed to go between the hoop and the ball, which is quite something. There can't be that much of a gap. So
A block here would be valuable. Not sure how much he went for it. I think he was just taking position there.
well, it could be, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it passed on the western side of the hoop. So I think I mean, I would be going for red if I could.
Oh yes, with black. I meant
Yes.
yellow though. Was there any
Oh, no,
yellow
I don't know.
trying to block blue on red.
I'm sure it is. Yes. Well, the trouble is that block means that you're not in position to run yourself. I actually sympathise with you. Just put another ball in, 2 balls in. You're putting the opponent under immediate pressure.
With potential to block.
Yeah,
and hoop as well.
exactly. You can then return because red isn't going more than shot. That's absolutely out of the middle. I think black's view was I'm either on the south boundary with my favourite 7-yard hoop, or I'm clearing red.
Block
So
useful again, given what we've seen of Jose's 7-yard
That
loop
looks pretty adjacent.
run. Yeah, certainly wondering.
No, got it. Well, it wasn't adjacent enough. 5-4 to Jose with two excellent longish hoops. I say longish because I don't think he regards 70 yards as long. So yellow up into respectable position, but not very far away from black. Well, red's not going to prevent blue. Now that's an attempt to cut yellow, into position where it can't see blue, and it won't be too far away from that. And also it gets black over towards 11. That looks a super shot from
Very
Richard.
good. That's done its job, blocking blue.
And makes the jump. It's so close to blue, it makes the jump virtually impossible.
What do you think the options are here?
But he's going to have a go at it. Oh no.
I know you were a fan of the hop shot, Stephen. Is
Yes.
that something you'd be thinking of here?
It's really for much closer range. It's really
Usually.
designed for the rescuing yourself when a rover peel has gone wrong.
What other options?
But they actually drive. Oh, he did have a view.
Did see it.
Good heavens!
Really didn't look like it from here. We
No.
were pretty close as well.
We definitely need to have our own private screen and we can see what's happening accurately. Well, chance for 5-all. And I'm afraid a fairly poor effort by his standards. It's hit the middle to outside of the left wire and just stopped there. However, there's probably a shot for yellow on. And for once, one of Jose's Roques goes AWOL, misses quite firmly on the right by about 2 balls, which is a second crack at getting 10 and getting to 5-all. This time he gets it, so 5-all it is. Now a bit of an issue is how much freedom red has to get across.
And in keeping with the theme of this tournament, we've got another closely contested third and deciding game.
Indeed, and blue's in perfect position, so it'll come down to the clearance of yellow on blue, and that in turn may be affected by any form of block that Jose can put in. Now, that might serve as a block. It's just given a decent tonk. No, it's
Red
really
was-
short of the blocking line.
Positioning of red was very cautious of not blocking yellow's line. wasn't
Well,
it?
that's the risk. Nothing worse to find you've done an important job for your opponent. So, this key clearance. better than missing, but hasn't gone terribly far away, and I don't think it doesn't look as if black runs. So really what he wants here is a controlled clearance which will keep blue close to the action, more or less. I mean, given the standard of shooting from both of them, anything within 7 yards you rather assume is in danger, in the sense it'll be hit properly and on the correct spot on the surface which the striker wants.
Where would you be positioning red there, Stephen?
I think that's right. You don't want to give black any chance, any value from a stop shot, so he won't play it, so he just goes in tight.
Yeah.
And then you've got to hope that blue misses, and the only way, what you might do is to send yellow up and try to get blocking position. It's a completely free option. You get into long running position for yourself.
It's worth a try, isn't it?
It's worth a try, yeah. That's not too far off. It really isn't.
Good effort, very good effort.
Just may have fallen just short, yeah, quite right. Always trying to do two things in each shot in golf croquet. That's a good one, so it comes down to the half court clearance.
It was a very clean strike.
Yeah, he's a very easy swinger.
Richard's clearance from behind hoop 10, I just didn't think it was his cleanest strike. So
No.
out of two right now, Jose's hitting better, I think.
Yes. Well, so this is. Tried to hit that harder, but missing.
Also not his best contact.
No, well, but I think also I got the impression he was trying to up the speed a bit.
Right.
Well, if he can get this all the way down to 12, well, not all the way, but
I think that's a good effort from
It
the
is.
angle he was at.
well, he obviously was at quite an angle.
Yeah.
That's right. This has to be as deep as you can manage.
Croquet
Yeah.
players of all standards will be familiar with that dilemma of sometimes wanting to hit harder, but knowing that it
You
risks
don't-
some loss of accuracy.
Yes, you've got to risk the ship, as they say at times, and that's, yeah. And now yellow's so good that he can afford to put red between, try and get the block. That's a bit strong. Yeah, that's gone through the blocking line by some way. Might have slightly interfered with blue.
So
See,
on yellow here.
I'd have thought so. He's not going for the hoop, is he? No, on the nose.
And that could even be wide. He's running after it. which
Yes,
suggests
that's always a
safe.
sign that you realise the end point is of critical importance.
Looks like a shooting stance, so he must be able to see something of the.
Oh, I think he can, yes. Oh dear. No, I think that was obviously missing firmly on the left. So Jose Alvarez Sala, Junior, one should say. His father, Jose Senior, founded the Federation Española de Croquet, and the younger Jose now has the chance to become European champion
For the second time, I think.
for the second time. Jose Riva was very keen to become European champion for the second time, but will rule a relatively straightforward 12 that he missed. Congratulations. So, a very good match. Well played to both, but Jose's shooting and hooping, particularly at hoops 8 and 9, I think proved to be the decisive factor. So, over and out from Dominic and myself. Bye.
What a cracking match there for our final of the European Golf Croquet Championship 2024. We have a winner. It's Jose Alvaro Sala. Well done to Richard Burton as well. Excellent work. But Jose, you've come out on top. Congratulations, you're champion of Europe. Those of you online, if you want to stay with us for a few more minutes, we'll have the prizes coming out onto the lawn. We'll continue live streaming. Stay tuned.
Referee of tournament, and Francis for being his ever faithful backup and everywhere on the lawns all at the same time for 4 days, which was quite an achievement. I'd also like to thank John, who's had a very tough time with the weather on Thursday, throwing everything out of kilter. So he's done a fantastic job at keeping us in order. So thank you. We've had 4 days of great croquet. I think this event this year we've had the strongest field ever in the European Championships, and we've had some really good croquet being played over the last 4 days. I don't talk about myself now, I have to say. But if we start off in reverse order, and I'd ask the winner of the ancillary events to come up to the front. In the plates we had the runner-up of Bjorn Kamne, who I believe has left already, yes. And in first place, Wolfgang Uzbek from Germany. Well done, Wolfgang. Well played. There you go. Picture over there. Okay. Yes. Okay, I'll stand over here. Carrying on with the bowl, which in fact we can't carry on with, as they're carrying on with it now. Manuel has to leave relatively soon, so we've agreed for them to carry on playing while we do our little bits down at this end of the lawn. But playing in it is Chris Roberts from Wales and Manuel Alvarez Sala from Spain. So well done to them for reaching the final. One place up we come to the Shield, and here we have runner-up from England, Stuart Smith, who has unfortunately had to leave, and the winner is Andres Alvarez Sala. Well done, Andres.
Take some of it for me.
Well played. Well played. Sorry about that.
Come the other side.
And now to the championship proper. In third place, from Spain, Jose Riva, Pepe. You haven't got any hands there. Well played. You'd like this on?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. There we go. Well played. Runner-up, Richard Bilton from England. Well done. I'll take both of these, shall I? I think I do, yes. And now, European Golf Croquet Champion 2024. Where is he? Jose Alvarez Sala. Well done. Well played. Wonderful play. Take that, and I'll put this one. Yeah, perfect. Very good.
Yeah.
So, good afternoon to you all. I just want to say a few words. First of all, I want to say, Richard, great final, great 4 days. So, congrats for your improvement during the tournament. I also want to say thank you to the club, thank you to the tournament manager, thank you to the cookers, thank you to everybody in this club. It has been amazing 4 days. Thank you, Cliff. The first day you gave me a key to win this, so thank you. And last word I want to say is I'm gonna say in Spanish. Claudia, María, esto va por vosotras, por confiar en mí. Thank you very much. See you next year.
Thank you again.
Pleasure.
I know it's not easy, especially with the new method of drawing the knockout. It didn't consider the fact that we finished.
Thank you everyone online for joining us. That's it. We have a winner. We have a European champion. Jose Alvarez Sala, European champion 2024. I hope you've all been enjoying the live stream. Thank you very much to Croquet England for sponsoring this live stream over the last 2 days. And thank you from me, Duncan. I've been behind the scenes running the cameras. I hope you've all enjoyed. Have a great weekend.